Good day everyone, so I am Michael Anthony B. PALAGTIW, a bona fide third-year college student of Negros Oriental State University. I am taking a Bachelor of Secondary Education major in English. So this video will focus on the DepEd organizational structure based on the Republic Act 9155 for the National Division School level. So to begin the discussion, let us first have the definition, or let's just say the background, for the DepEd organizational structure. So in August 2001, the Republic Act No. 9155, or the RA 9155, an act instituting a framework of governance for basic education, establishing authority and accountability, renaming the Department of Education, Culture and Sports, and the Department of Education as for other purposes, otherwise known as the Governance of Basic Education Act of 2001, was issued. So it provided a framework for the governance of education, decentralizing the governance of the field and making the schools and learning centers the heart of education system. So the law also established the authority and accountability of various organization levels of the Department of Education, or let's just say the DepEd. Now moving on, let us have the rationale of the organizational structure. So the rationalized organizational structures and staffing patterns were as a result of the thorough study of the DepEd Change Management Team, or the CMT, on the current structures, functions, and staffing complement of the DepEd offices via the long-term educational reforms, requirements of the learners, the changing environment, and the national government policies. So the approved organizational structures are consistent with the provisions of RA 9155 in applying the principles of decentralization and shared governance to ensure the accountability and relevance to the context and development needs of the learners and stakeholders of the various organizational levels. So in developing the organizational structures, the DepEd or the CMT also identify the themes or organizational strands common to all the levels of the department. These organizational strands reflect to the similarity of functions and objectives of offices and units. The organizational strands are as follows. So we have the Office of the Secretary. The Office of the Secretary, or the OSEC, provides the overall leadership and direction at the national level. So the attached and support agencies to DepEd are included under this particular section. Let's have the curriculum and the instruction. So this strand ensures that the organization focuses on the delivery of a relevant, responsive, and effective basic education curriculum around which all other strands and offices provide support. Let us now proceed to governance and operations. So this strand ensures the capacity of the organization to continuously improve and be strategic in managing the environment for which teaching and learning takes place. So in accordance to RA 9155, the Secretary of the Education delegates the supervision of the field offices, or the regional and school divisions offices to the Undersecretary for the Governance and Operations. We have the legal and the legislative affairs, which this strand enhances the capacity of the organization to deal with the legal matters and to be proactive in moving forward its legislative agenda. And lastly, we have the finance and administration. So this strand ensures the efficiency to support the organizations as a whole, to focus on its core business and thus attain its targets through the provision of finance and administrative services. Now this time, let us proceed with the Department of Education, or the DepEd, organizational structure in the Philippines. So we have the national level. At the top level, there is a Secretary of Education who is in charge of making education policies for the entire country. The Secretary is responsible for formulating policies, plans, and programs related to basic education in the country. So under the Secretary, there are various bureaus and services and offices that help in the implementation of education policies. So some key units at the national level include the Bureau of Elementary Education, the Bureau of Secondary Education, the Bureau of Alternative Learning System, and the Bureau of Curriculum Development. Now moving on, we have the division level. So the division level represents the next tier in the organizational structure. So the country is divided into several divisions, which are headed by division superintendents. So each division is responsible for the supervision and the management of schools within its jurisdiction. So the division superintendent is supported by various offices and units to carry out the following functions. So these are the curriculum implementation, personnel management, budget and finance, planning and research, monitoring and evaluation. Now lastly, we have the school level. So at the bottom level, we have individual schools, and each school has a school head, formerly known as the principal, who is responsible for running the school and making sure that students receive a quality education. The school head has teaching and non-teaching staff members who help them with the day-to-day operations of the school. Now, they ensure the effective delivery of education services and the implementation of policies and programs set by the DepEd. Schools also have teaching and non-teaching staff members who play important roles in the day-to-day operations of the school. Now, in summary, the DepEd has a national level with a Secretary of Education, division level with division superintendents, and school level with school heads overseeing individuals in schools. Now, it offered a framework for governing education, decentralizing control to the field, and elevating schools and learning facilities to a central position in the educational system. And I guess that concludes my discussion. Thank you for listening.